Good morning and welcome to this video about SuiteScript types by Hood River Consulting and Oracle NetSuite partner. My name is Evelyn Sarmiento Cámbara and I'm a technical consultant at the company. In this video, I will be explaining what SuiteScript is and the different types of SuiteScript available. SuiteScript is the JavaScript-based programming language used by NetSuite, which allows developers to create customization, automation, integration, and many other features within the system. In other words, if I need a button that, when executed, generates a summary of the order, I can do that with SuiteScript by creating a user-event script to build the button and connecting it with a client script to display the message on the screen. You may be wondering what a client script and user event are. Well, in SuiteScript, we have different types of scripts, which we will talk about later. NetSuite uses a governance model in SuiteScript to control resource consumption and maintain system performance. This model is based on usage units. If a script consumes more units than allowed, NetSuite automatically terminates its execution. Usage units represent the cost of executing operations within NetSuite. Every time a script loads a record, runs a search, saves data, or calls certain NetSuite APIs, units are deducted from the available limit for that script. How is consumption measured? NetSuite controls resources consumption in two ways. By a script type, each script type has a maximum limit of usage units per execution. As you can see in screen, coding script has a low limit, user event has medium limit, and scaled and MapReduce has high limit. This reflects the purpose of each script. User interface scripts must be fast, while batch scripts can handle heavier processing. And by API usage, each SuiteScript API has a defined cost in usage units. For example, record load has a high cost, search run has medium cost, and record save has a high cost. So simple operations has low cost. The total consumption is the sum of all API calls made by the script. What happens when the limit is exceeded? Well, when a script reaches its limit, NetSuite interrupts the execution. Governance limit exceeded, error is thrown, and there is no automatic rollback. It depends on the context. That is why it's important to design efficient scripts. If you need to handle a large volume of data, it's better to use a MapReduce script, which has 3 different stages, each with a high number of usage units available, instead of a user event or a client script, which have much lower limits. SuiteScript has 2 versions, 1.0 and 2x, where 2x can be 2.0, 2.1. The SuiteScript version defines the syntax you can use, how models are imported, which APIs are available, and how maintainable and scalable your code is. SuiteScript 1.0 context, it's the legacy version based on government functions. It still exists for compatibility, but it's not recommended for new developments. It has a it uses global functions, no model system, code is difficult to test and maintain, and there is a high risk of global namespace collisions. And its current status is, although it is still supported, NetSuite actively encouraged migration to 2x. Okay, and 2x introduced to modernize development, align NetSuite with modern JavaScript, and improve structure and maintainability. Now I will talk about types of SuiteScripts. Client script. A client script is a type of SuiteScript that runs in the user browsers while the user is interacting with a record in NetSuite. It does not run on the server and executes in real time as the user clicks, types, or saves. They are used to control the behavior of a records. And well, some common use cases include validating data before saving, reacting when a field changes, auto-populating values, displaying messages to the user, enable or disable fields, and preventing incorrect actions. Well, anything that affects the user experience. A client script runs only when a user opens a record in the user interface or the record is being created or edited. They don't run in CSV import with services, RESTlets, MapReduce, and background processes. And now I will talk about the entry points. The client script, well, first one, page init. This entry point runs when the form loads in create or edit mode. Common uses are initialize values, disable fields, display messages. Field changed. This entry point runs when the user changes a field. Common uses recalculate values, validate field combinations, auto-populate related fields. Post sourcing is an entry point that runs after NetSuite automatically populates a field as a result of sourcing. And it is used for adjust values after sourcing, override fields that NetSuite autofill, run logic that depends on source values. Line init, validate line, sublist change, used for sublist operations, and save record. This entry point runs right before saving the record. User event scripts. A user event script is a type of SuiteScript that runs on the server when a record goes through a system event. It doesn't depend on the browser. It doesn't matter if the record comes from the UI, CSV, integration, or script, and it always runs when the event occurs. And well, they are usually used to apply business rules. And some common cases are validations, automatically setting values, preventing incorrect saves, creating or updating related records, adding buttons or fields to the form. Well, when do they run? A user event can run at 3 different times depending on the entry point configured. Before load, runs before the form is displayed. Common uses are add buttons, hide, or show fields, adjust the form based on role or status. And before submit, runs just before the record is saved. Common uses are validation, automatically set fields, and normalize data. Last one, after submit, runs after the record has been saved. Common uses create related records, trigger processes, call other scripts, and update secondary information. Okay, Suitelets. A Suitelet is a type of SuiteScript that allows you to create a custom page inside NetSuite. A Suitelet responds to HTTP requests, usually get to display the page and pause to process what the user submitted. Suitelets are used for display custom forms, capture user input, show results like lists, tables, or reports, and run processes when the user clicks a button. They run when the script is deployed. NetSuite assigns it a URL, and a user can run it from a link, from a button, from a custom menu, and from another Suitelet or using event. And it's important to mention that you can check a field to run without logging. RESTlets. A RESTlet is a type of SuiteScript that exposes a REST API within NetSuite. They are used when another application needs to send data to NetSuite, retrieve information from NetSuite, create or update records, or integrate NetSuite with other systems. Some real examples are create orders from an online store, send invoices, or check order status. When do they run? RESTlets run via HTTP requests, such as get, post, put, or delete. Authentication is always required. NetSuite uses TBA, OAuth, or user or role. A MapReduce is a SuiteScript used to process large volumes of data in the background. They are needed when you need to process many records, perform mass imports, create or update records in bulk, process results from large searches, avoid governance errors, or integrate NetSuite with other systems. Some real examples are create invoices from thousands of orders, process large files from the file cabinet, update prices or statuses in bulk. Well, how does it work? The script is divided into stages. Get input data, retrieves the data from search, array, file, query, etc. Map, process each record one by one. Reduce, groups and processes related data. And summarize is the final summary. You can see logs, errors, and statistics. Well, how is a MapReduce executed? It can be run manually, scaled from a button, or from another script. Well, we talk about other types of scripts. A scaled script is a script that runs automatically in the background according to a schedule, used for repetitive tasks, processes that don't require user interaction, or nightly jobs. For example, check pending orders every night and update their status. Mass update script runs when you perform a mass update in NetSuite. Is used for updating many records at once, applying custom logic to multiple records. Okay. Bundle installation scripts. A bundle installation script runs when a bundle is installed or updated, used for initial configuration, creating custom records, or automatic post-install adjustment. Suite Cloud Framework installation script, similar to the above, but for this framework. It's just for logic that runs during a deploy, automatically configure environments. Portlet, the Portlet script is a visual block that appears on the NetSuite dashboard. It's used for displaying metrics, summarized information, and useful links. Workflow action scripts runs inside a workflow. It's used for extending workflows when logic is too complex, doing things a normal workflow cannot. Custom GL plugin, a plugin that modifies how NetSuite generates this this GL impact. Well, it's used for customizing accounting impact and add new lines to GL impact. It's not recommended to use. Well, this is everything from my side. Thank you for watching.